Back at it again, ladies and gentlemen. Today, we have a special one. We have an anniversary, guys, from the one and only Disturbed's Indestructible. You motherfucker, you're so indestructible. Anyways, guys, let's go ahead and jump into this one right here, guys. It's a really unique one right here. This band has meant a lot to me growing up, David Draymond, Disturbed. Also, guys, don't mind the glare that we got today. Not sure why it's looking like that. I know it looks heavenly, you know what I mean? Just over here in the spotlight, just heavenly scent. Kind of a funny, it's funny how this is happening on an album that involves fire and that involves the guy and being indestructible. Not that this is a satanic album. Disturbed, I would say, is far from that. But just how this album is probably their most furious, I'd say. Now, guys, Disturbed, I started off with The Sickness. This video is going to be a little bit different today off the topics, guys. We're not going to be doing track by track off of the Indestructible album. We're just going to be doing an appreciation of the album, Indestructible, and appreciation of the band, and things like that nature, guys. So not necessarily a track by track, but just more of an appreciation of the band due to the anniversary and the impact this band has made on my life. I know you guys can't see the tattoo, but I do have the guy, the logo of Disturbed. The logo of Disturbed is called The Guy. If you guys want to know what he looks like, he's on the cover of the album and things of that nature. He's like just one of those just like old school kind of like looking animated things where it's like just looks like this creature, this beast and things of that nature. Not necessarily a beast where he's covered in hair, but just the guy. And he's furious. He seems to be, unleashed on this record. And you also see the guy throughout Disturbed's catalog and throughout their shows, their logos, their merch. He's also on the cover of the next album, Asylum, where, things of that nature, where he's on the cover. Now, guys, going back to Disturbed, their overall catalog, who's with me on saying that I believe that Indestructible, to me personally, guys, I wouldn't say is their most personal, because that is going to be Asylum. Now, guys, with Asylum, that album right there, David Draymond dives into topics involving his child and things like that. There's a record called My Child where I believe that, that things were going wrong during pregnancy and things like that. And, unfortunately, I don't think that he had his child, or maybe something had happened to his child very early on and left David Draymond in this unfortunate state where just feeling lost, feeling pissed, feeling angry, feeling just literally probably like he needs to be in an asylum, entitled The Record at the time. And that track is really personal, guys. So with Asylum and the other tracks going on, the music videos and the visions we get, I would say it's more of a personal album from the band, especially for David Draymond. But Indestructible, guys, I would say this is the album where they bring, no pun intended, the feriness, the fire. This is where they release the rage. This is where they release, the chaos is where they bring it. I know in their previous records, guys, where we got 10,000 Fists and Believe, really influential records, staying positive, always on the positive nature and things like that. Prayer, or I believe, was more on the religious side due to, songs such as the title record, Believe, Prayer, Liberate, and things like that, guys. I mean, a lot of the tracks on there really just more on the religious side. And then the next one they came out was 10,000 Fists, where that one, again, guys, a lot of anthems, great live album to perform. A lot of anthems for the fans to chant too, for the crowd, to get the crowds going and things like that. I mean, we got Stricken on that bad boy. That's a fucking banger right there. Love Stricken. And the energy on 10,000 Fists is really consistent, I would say. And that album is actually really is lengthy, There's a lot of tracks on there. And that album is damn near pushing an hour, if not over an hour, which is, you don't really get that with albums these days and things like that, guys. So following that up with 10,000 Fists, getting Indestructible, guys. This album right here was really an album that I grew up on. The Sickness, The Sickness, their first album. Indestructible is not one I would probably say is their best. I do love The Sickness. I love the originality that the band was doing at the time, especially with the hip-hop nature. And I feel like David Draymond's vocals at the time, he was really shining, had something to prove, came from a lot of shit, came from drug addictions, a lot, losing loved ones, losing friends, having problems of his own. And on that record, it just feels that entitled, you know, the not only the album being The Sickness, but the band, his first debut for the band entitled Disturbed. I think that that record is just Disturbed all over the damn thing. I mean, David Draymond's vocals are crazy. You get Stupefied. Down with the Sickness is the craziest song I've damn near ever fucking heard. Violent Fetish. You get Numb. You get all this stuff, guys, that is literally all over the record. And I mean, the album is literally just banging from top to bottom. I mean, all the songs on there, you know, I mean, you cannot go wrong with The Game. Like I said, guys, Stupefy is like damn near one of their most up there anthems, along with Down with the Sickness. I do love even, guys, you know, like Voices and things like that, where the tracks are not necessarily singles, but they're you know, tracks that are in the album throughout the Sickness. I think a lot of the tracks on there are consistent, really versatile at the same time. David Draymond shines all out throughout the vocals throughout that album, especially with doing that waka-kaka, that staccato flow he does very well all over the Sickness. But once we get to Indestructible, guys, what I loved about this album right here was this was really an album that I really found myself digging more on Dan Donegan. You know, they're, you know, guitarists and things like that, guys. Dan Donegan, I thought his solos on this one were badass. He's always been with the band, always been loyal with David Draymond, things like that. So whenever you hear Disturbed and you're rocking out and you hear those riffs and things like that, guys, that is from Dan Donegan. And, you know, he's really shining all throughout this record right here, guys. You know, that's really what I dug throughout this whole record right here was the guitarness of this, the metalness, the in-your-faceness, the feariness, the pump-upness, the energy we give. This is literally an album, guys, that when I hear The Sickness, that one brings back the nostalgia, you know, feel to me, you know what I mean, the memories. And I do focus a little bit more on the vocals from David Draymond, especially on the first album, The Sickness. This one right here, guys, what I loved about it was this felt like the band's best effort as a whole. You know, I felt that the riffs were awesome. The metal nature was at its best for the band. The energy was there. This is the most pump up. You know, we get the title track being Indestructible. We get the title track in the album, guys, Indestructible. Banging music video. Everyone marching, everyone raging. Old school stuff looking like 300. Bringing that energy and shit like that, guys. This is one of those albums that just makes you want to just fucking work out too. Just, you know what I mean? Just rage too. Release some energy too. All this shit. And, you know, we get David Draymond really shining out on the vocals and with this staccato flow on this. Again, bringing that rap style as well that he does best. And, but again, guys, I do think the saturation with the metalness is really not overpowering, but it is a little, due to the production, it does sound like it's a little more on that side than David Draymond's vocals a little bit. Of course, they're shining together, but maybe it's me because I'm loving the riffs, I'm loving the guitar nature and the metalness all over this record. But I do think that Dan Donegan is really shining out, you know, on this record. Now, he's not overpowering David Draymond where he's beating him or he's like, you know, topping him. I really do think that when it comes to Disturbed and the consistency and nature and that powerness, this record right here, guys, you could shuffle any song. Pure energy, pure rage. Also, the consistency throughout this record, guys. There is a video of the band making this album. It's about an hour long, guys. It's a great documentary of the band making the album. I really checked that video out on YouTube. Really educational video to show you David Draymond in the studio at the time. It's showing him like with these rare footages of him in the studio, you know, just freaking rocking out, singing, doing his vocals that he does best. David Draymond is up there with some of the top vocalists. Now, I know that David Draymond isn't like a Mike Patton where he's always switching it up and doing something, you know, just, you know, out of the bloom. But what I would say is that David Draymond knows his voice. He does it well. He has a specific sound where it really fits. It's like this guy can make the most simplistic metal song be like an anthem and just this operatic thing going on. You know what I mean? And not a lot of artists can do the vocals that he does, and also does like the style he does as well. You know, this guy brings that the guy side You know, that sounds a little weird, but the beast side out of him, you know what I mean? That rage side out of him. He does it well. A lot of these metal singers, I know that that is what metal is about, is getting it out and doing all that stuff. But I think with David Drimmon, with his signature sounds and also bringing like that staccato rap kind of flow going on, is very different, very their signature sound. Dan Donegan, shout out to him for being loyal, you know, just for the band, for David Drimmon throughout the whole career. This album right here, guys, Indestructible, is just really a go-to when it comes to energy release, when it comes to needing energy, just all this stuff, guys. I love the nature that this album puts me in, you know, and again, seeing the video of them making this record was really interesting. You know, it really educates you on what the band is like, how they're, you know, how they're rolling, how they get along, who they're working with, how they're coming up with riffs, and things like that, guys. Really raw footage. I love that stuff. Linkin Park has a video where, you know, Linkin Park and Jay-Z, and not only even that video, they have a lot of footage of them in the studio where I love that stuff. We're seeing Mike Shinoda and Chester at the time in the studio, and just going back to these old times, guys, and just watching these videos is always badass, because, you know, if for people that were too young, weren't born, or maybe just overlooked the band at the time, these videos are there. You can, you know, just go back to when the record was released, going back to all these times, guys, like in the 90s, early 2000s, and seeing the making of the videos back when there was like MTV, and that rawness nature of just, it just really felt that music was a priority, and it was, you know, rare to get and really fun to listen to, and also just going to the store and having to go out of your way to hear an album. You know, these days you can throw on an album for free on YouTube and goof off and do whatever, but back in the day, guys, I do miss that nature of going to the store, searching for the record, hoping it's there, and things like that, guys. You know, unfortunately, that didn't really last long due to my age bracket, you know, born in 97, and things like that, guys. That shit just disappeared, like, you know, by 2010, it seems. So, with that being said, guys, you know, this album right here, I love the nostalgic value that we get. It seems that at the time that this band had a lot of release, you know, that they needed to say and do, and a lot of creativity going on in the studio, especially with Dan Donegan. You know, him coming up with these guitar riffs was fucking killing it. You hear and you see footage of David Drimmon in the studio, of him working on vocals, doing vocals that ended up being on the album, which I love seeing that stuff of them doing the vocals, and then you hear like the final product on the song, and then it's kind of like seeing the behind the scenes and things like that, guys, which, you know, I'm really into and things like that. So that was really interesting, guys. Also, you know, this record was supposed to be entitled The Night, you know, but, you know, I know that we get a track on here entitled The Night, which is a banger, you know what I mean? Definitely feels like a nighttime fitter. But with it entitled Indestructible, I think that title really fits well. I think that along with their other catalog, The Sickness, Asylum, 10,000 Fists, Believe, Indestructible, I think that one really fits. I think The Night would have kind of been a little bit more simplistic. I mean, Believe is probably their most simplistic album name, and, you know, that one being their sophomore album, you know, like, who knows, maybe it was like things going on and, you know, lack of creativity. The album is banging. It's a great album. Disturbed does not have a bad album, but Believe, I can understand why people would say is probably their most lackluster album, maybe their least go-to. I can understand that, but I do love the versatility on that, guys. We do get a nice kind of like Nine Inch Nails type of ballad going on with Darkness at the end of the album on Believe. I really recommend checking out that album, or that song, Darkness by Disturbed. Great track. Last song off of Believe. And with Indestructible, guys, I think with the guy, you know, their logo, their character, being on the cover, and the fiery nature and the whole nature that we get in this album, guys, of just pure energy given to us. It just feels like an adrenaline shot, just given to us all over our bodies. And with Indestructible, I think that fits well. I love the picture that paints. We're bulletproof, we're indestructible, we're powerful, we can get through this, untouchable, you know what I mean? And goes along with the topic of Believe. Believe me, I am indestructible. I mean, you know, the shit that I've been through. As you can see, I'm still here, still standing, still giving you guys these banging songs. The band is still with me. We had a couple switch-ups early on and things like that, but you know what? The band is still here. We're consistent. We're doing this. We're rocking out. We know what we're doing. and they gave us Indestructible, guys. I do prefer Indestructible over The Night. I'm glad that they switched that. But overall, guys, the Indestructible album, this album right here, guys, is really just an impactful album. If you're into working out, if you're into just, things like that, metal overall, I really check out Disturbed's Indestructible. A solid album to really check out, and things of that nature, guys. Everyone knows that Down With The Sickness and Stricken was really a single that I did not know was as popular as it was. I mean, that track right there, guys, is really up there with Stupefy and Down With The Sickness. That shit is really up there. Glad Disturbed's getting the acknowledgement. This band is a band that I feel that deserves to be performing at the Super Bowls, to be having sold out stadiums. They've always been consistent with touring, and that's what I love about David Draymond. I mean, he wears his operatic costumes, his black coat, whether it's hot or cold. I mean, being consistent with that, and that is right there, guys, is rock and roll and dedication and motivation to somebody like myself who loves music and who loves this band and loves what Disturbed is doing. So keep up the good work, guys. Love what you guys are doing. I have read with that Disturbed is in the talks of a new album, things like that, guys. They've always been a band that has never probably pushed the envelope or probably disappeared or went on hiatus and things like that. They've always been a band that has given us what we needed. They're a band that is all about positivity and strive for greatness and motivation, and that is good music right there, guys. You can never go wrong with those lyrics and things of that nature, guys. Not to be diversive here, but this is like really that stuff for dudes to just really just release shit to. Fucking just, just go hard to everything that they're doing. So you play this album, you're going hard too. I mean, you're smoking a cigarette hard. You're fucking just pumping the iron a little extra today. Whatever you're doing is amped up because Disturbed is on. Indestructible. You feel indestructible. Love that. Really well fitting. Overall, guys, if you want to feel indestructible, check out the record by Disturbed. Happy anniversary. I know we're a day after, but you know what, guys? The energy is still flowing in the air. And, back in the day, the album would have been released today. And I'm sure that, people would have been listening to it back in the day, back in the 2000s. So with that being said, guys, do yourselves a favor. Check out Indestructible. Like I said, YouTube has all these songs all over the place. These streaming services are free. You can fucking get them. You can search up the songs on YouTube, whatever it is. But guys, never forget the impact and the quality of CDs and vinyls. You know what I mean? Like the experience that we get listening to your favorite albums off of vinyl and CD is a whole different experience. But other than that, guys, streaming services, you can never go wrong. Throwing it on real quick, hearing to hear what you need to hear real quick, and pump you up and things of that nature. So guys, do yourselves a favor. Indestructible by Disturbed. Thanks for sticking with me on the topics. Let me know what else to discuss. Over here, we'll discuss movies, music, art, etc. Things of that nature, guys. Let me know what else to discuss over here on the topics. Are you a fan of Disturbed? What is your favorite track off this album? Are you an Indestructible guy? Do you believe? Are you sickness? Are you filled with the sickness? Are you down with the sickness? And do you have 10,000 fists? So with that being said, guys, let me know your favorite album by the band. Are you a fan of the band? Have you heard the album? Let me know in the comment section. With that being said, guys, till next time off the topics, deuces.